Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 523. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley,
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Adam Vale,
How you doing, internet?
Richard Bailey Jr.,
What's up, everybody?
and Brian Manjoma.
14 months from reveal till launch. Hopefully, the rest of the gaming industry is watching that.
Oh, man. We'll see. All right, first up, I'll just get the obvious out of the way. Tony, you sound different. Yes, I do sound different. And the reason we're late is because of that, because some shenanigans with my PC thinking that my microphone was a fucking headset. So after that, I'm like, you know what, the show must go on, so I'll just use a regular headset. So if I sound like shit, I don't know. Blame it on your worst enemy. Blame it on Jason Schreier, Although I must say,
Is he your worst enemy?
he's not my worst enemy,
you know
but I
what?
don't like him, By the way, it's weird not having the microphone in front of my face. I can do this, man. I can do moves, man. Oh, shit. It's crazy.
Brian, you know what I was thinking also? Because this is when he made that comment about it. Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a great game. And it felt like within 6 months, it was at $30. And it dropped. Remember that?
Yeah,
that was a
well-
really good game, too.
Yeah, well,
And then-
to quote Manny, that game had the stink of Avengers on it.
Oh,
That
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
People thought it was
Such
that
a
type of game.
shame.
It's a fucking.
What
The
a
game was
shame.
great. It was a great game.
Yeah, I loved it. I
Great.
loved it.
It's a great series.
All right.
Anyway, let's get into it, man. Got a lot of stuff to cover, and we're gonna switch things up a little bit. We will be doing the news, obviously, but we're actually gonna kick the show off with some reviews, people.
Beep, 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 beep.
We're always here complaining about there's no games to play. There's actually games to play, and we're reviewing them. And we're going to give you the reviews. Let's start things off with Monster Hunter, a game that Richard and I reviewed. Go check out our reviews over at Tom's Guide and The Coalition, respectively. And yeah, I'm so happy I can finally talk about this game publicly. I've been playing it, and Rich as well, for like a good 2 weeks now. We got our review codes nice and early. Thank you to Capcom. And it's been a blast, although there's some controversy, but we'll get to that, But Rich, I want to start with you first, because obviously, like, you're kind of newish to Monster Hunter, so I want to get your perspective before I chime in. So what do you think? And obviously your review was fantastic, so good job on that, as always.
Thank you very much, good sir. And I would encourage people to check out the review if you want to get my thoughts. But overall, I will just say I think the game is amazing. I did see the game at Summer Game Fest last year, but it was a hands-off demo. So obviously, when I saw it there, I was impressed. I will admit, and just like I said in my review, when I first saw this game get announced, I know there was a lot of excitement. I didn't understand the excitement at that moment in time because I didn't play any of the other games in the series. So this was my entryway into the series, and I was thoroughly impressed with Wiles pretty much in every way imaginable. Like I said, like Tony said, started playing it a couple of weeks ago. Jumped right into the story. I like the characters. I mean, it's a game where there's a lot of things involved, and it's the whole thing about learning, not just fighting the monsters, but preparing for the battles, the hunts. There's a lot that you have to take time to learn. I will be curious to hear what Tony says, what the controversy is, because I think I have an idea what that controversy is, and we'll get to that later. But no, I enjoyed the game. It's a great action RPG. Yeah. There's so much to say about that game. I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah. No,
But,
I'm really
yeah.
glad you said that, because, again, I was wondering, did you feel overwhelmed? Because there's a lot of shit. Like, I remember, the first time I really, really played Monster Hunter was with World, right? And it was like, yo. I remember, we were doing streams, which we'll be talking about later. I was like, yo, I've just been playing this game for 100 hours, and I just learned how to do this shit. Like there's so much stuff, so I was wondering, like, if you ran into that, where you're like, how this game's not explaining this very well.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of things. At times I felt like our very good friend, Mr. Carlos Romero, with the chocobos and all the stuff that he dealt with Final Fantasy. Yeah, I felt some of that in this game. Um, Obviously, getting, when you're fighting the monsters for the first time, that was a bit of a learning curve for me. And I understand that you, Tony, and some other veterans, they were able to get through the monsters without getting carded. No, I got carded a couple times, especially, and I'm not going to say any spoilers, especially with the Dogamisha battle.
Yeah.
They kept going on and on and on. Oh, I got carded at least twice in that fight, but I did it. I was able to do it,
There you go.
And I will say this. I don't know how you pronounce this. The what is it? The Palisico?
Oh, Palico.
Is that how?
Palico.
Palico. There you go. Palico. Yes. Let me say this right now. Obviously, if you love cats, that's what's up. I'm not too much of a cat fan. I did get some assistance in some battles, but for the most part, no, I was the one carrying those battles. The Palico was there, to help with the health, etc., but didn't really contribute much as far as the traps and stuff. So yeah, that was a bit of a, until I started to join other people and bring them into the game, I did a lot of those fights by myself. And that's why I said people who said it's not difficult. Well, for me coming into the series for the first time, it wasn't difficult, but it definitely was challenging, some of them fights, because you can get you do a lot of damage on a monster. You think you pretty much got, they're about to be done. Then they'll have the dialogue. Oh, he's getting tired, so on and so forth. And then, of course, no, it's not over yet. You have to really take them down. So it is a learning curve, but it's such a satisfying feeling when you finally defeat the monsters, and I like that, in addition to the storytelling, what they did with the characters. So yeah, I enjoyed the game a lot. I thought it was fantastic.
Rich, did you ever shoot off the SOS flares and have the NPCs join you?
I did do that. That I learned a little bit later.
Yeah, like
because
I said, in this game, you're like, oh, I didn't really know I could do that.
Oh yeah, that was a game changer when I finally did learn that. But I went into this like, hey, let's see how tough this is. I just went in every battle, pretty much fought by myself up until a certain point, because obviously as you get deeper into the game, you start leveling up. Some of those battles get a little very intense. So you can't go in there. Obviously I'm using the long sword as well.
I was going to ask you what weapon you were using. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely needed some assistance. But yeah, once I did do the flare thing and then I had other people playing, I could see where it's a lot of fun. Obviously, I played with randos. I didn't get a chance to play with you, but obviously I will get a chance to play with everybody here on the show for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. No, I really like hearing your thoughts as a kind of like a newcomer. Here's the thing. I can't call myself a Monster Hunter veteran because I only really got into it with World. Monster Hunter I've said this many times. Monster Hunter is one of those franchises I've always had my eye on, but I could never play them because the controls were shit. Either the controls were shit or they were on handhelds. So it's like, so with World, they finally got it. So this one, to me, and I said this in my review, it's more of World, and that's exactly what I wanted. So I was very happy with that. And one of the reasons I was asking you about, did you have a tough time learning? Because there was a lot of times where I'm playing this game, I'm like, if I hadn't played World, I wouldn't know to do this shit. Because the game doesn't fucking tell you.
Yeah.
The game just flat out doesn't tell you some stuff. As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues, he was struggling a lot. And I'm like, did you after you killed a monster, did you forge shit out of them to make new weapons and armor? He's like, no, I didn't. I've never done that. I'm like, well, there you go. But the game doesn't flat out tell you that. It's like, hey, when you kill a monster, make whatever parts you can, and then you could survive shit. But yeah, no, I love the. Here's the thing. I wanted to say this in my review, but I didn't know how to phrase it cleverly. It would just take too long. But I'll say it here. I think Monster Hunter World and Wild should have their names flipped, right? Because I feel this game, since it's so expansive, you really truly can walk from one map, from the beginning map in the desert, all the way to the the ice one, you could literally walk from it. I feel this game is should have been called World because it really does feel like World. Whereas with World, that one was more wild because it was like completely untamed land. And this one, there's people living in all the lands you visited, so it's not completely wild, so to speak. Like there's actually people there. There's civilizations. Like that's something World didn't have, and I learned that other Monster Hunters did have. Like you see ruins from other civilizations. World doesn't have that. Not really, not until like later, some of the expansion stuff. So I enjoyed that. Like, I'm looking at them like, ooh, I wonder what kind of civilization. There's probably some fucking cats that built it or something, probably, But I like that, and like you said, I like the people inhabiting the lands and your characters. I like them. Your handler, she isn't annoying like that, like the one in the first game or World. I say, it's the Eaglenath. This handler, she's cool. Although she has a tendency to just walk around. I'm like, bitch, I want to do a mission. Where are you? But thankfully, you could actually do missions from your tent, which is good. Rich, what did you think about the eating in this game? Because you could tell a foodie made some of these sequences.
Oh yeah, they made it. They made a lot of them like whenever you had the cutscenes where like you're going to the other village, they want to thank you for helping them out. They have some very elaborate cut scene with the food. Yeah, they put a lot of time and effort into that. Two quick things I want to mention though. You mentioned about some stuff is hard to figure out. I will admit, obviously, when you get the portable barbecue, you learn how to cook.
Yeah.
But when you go into those fights, right? If you go into those fights, you don't really have, yourself prepared. It's hard to recover. You can't just eat a meal. It takes some time. It took me some time to figure that out. I did have struggles with that part.
Yeah, you got to drink those potions, bro. Got to drink those potions. Got to be like you said. And I'm glad the game hasn't lost that aspect. Like you got to prepare. So that was good. But yeah, I do want to get to the part, and this is me going to be full transparent, right? When I played the game, I played over like 100 monster battles, right? I only got carded 3 times, the whole time, and I'm like, I'm like, damn, like this game, like like when I played World, bro, I got carded like a motherfucker, especially your boy Doshugama. Like he was getting good. By the way, shout out to Illustrated. He calls him O Dog, so we call him that. But in this time, I only got carded 3 times. Ironically enough, it was when I played with other players because those NPCs keep you healed, bro. Like they don't fuck around. And I'm gonna give a special shout out to one NPC called Rosso. That's my motherfucking dude. Every time he showed up, he would always jump on top of the monster. I'm like, let's fucking go. And even he would be like, let's go. But yeah, so as I played this, I'm like, hey, this was a little easy, But I didn't say that in my review because, obviously I had sunk hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter World. And I didn't want to sound like an asshole, like, oh, I know how to play this game. You noobs don't know shit. I didn't want to come off like that. So I didn't talk about difficulty in my review. And then when the reviews come out, everybody's complaining about the fucking difficulty. I'm like, oh, okay, so it wasn't just me then. So that's been the kind of controversy. But here's the thing, though. And I was talking to another colleague about this. This game was sent, there's exceptions like you, Rich, but for the most part, this game was sent to hardcore Monster Hunter guys. They know how to play this shit. So they're going to have an easier time, obviously, and especially these influencers where that's all they fucking do. But I didn't, it wasn't too much of a bother. But think about it. It's like, yeah, in Monster Hunter, bro, my ass, Monster Hunter, where I got carded a lot, and then shout out to Reggie for this, among other reasons, Rich. He told us that, and I can believe this too, that a lot of people, like regular people that played Monster Hunter World, checked out after Anjanath. That's the first truly tough boss, right? So Reggie believes, and I kind of agree with them, that the developers were probably like, yo, let's tone this shit down. We want people to see more of the monsters, So that's what I think happened. Reggie, what's going on, brother? You already
Oh
know.
no, here he comes.
Here he comes,
Well.
pure Cambodian. Let's go, son. Oh man, but yeah. So
Oh, I don't know if you can make that joke anymore.
I'll make it. I'll make that joke. Reggie knows
Now,
it's an inside joke with us. Go ahead, Rich.
so I just want to make a comment to add to what you said.
Yeah.
So if it was built for the hardcore fans, I understand that. I also would make the comment that I feel like the goal of this game was they really wanted to focus on the in-game stuff, because that's where you're going to have a lot more of the challenges. Obviously, you'll need to play with friends. I think they focused on that. And I say that because I've noticed that seems to be a trend with a lot of these certain games. I know with Path of Exile 2, when I went to that presentation, they specifically said we wanted to focus on the in-game experience, because they figured that people were going to get through the acts, but really it's about the in-game content and continuing the life cycle of the game. And then we saw today that they announced when they have the first update for Monster Hunter, it's all this stuff that's coming in that first update. So I think that's what their intent was.
They always do that, though. We saw that with Division 2 after the whole thing with 1. They were like, oh, get ready for the end game. I'm like, I just started playing this game. What are you talking about? It's like, so you're telling me I need the speed races to get to the real butter part of this game? No. I want to just enjoy it. I don't want to speed through it. Yeah, there's going to be people that do that. They do that in every game. There's always that crew like, hey, I got to level 60 in 23 hours. It's like, oh, look at you.
Oh, that's happened. Like, Adam, there were some reviewers like, yo, I played 300 hours of this game. Like, how the fuck did you do that? But no, Adam, you're right about it. But to your point, I'm glad you asked that, Adam, because in this game, let's just say you're a regular person, you don't care about the end game, you will get a very enjoyable experience just from the regular game.
That's good. That's fine.
But
for the majority?
Yeah. For the majority of people, they're going to get through it's like 12 hours, not too bad. And they'll get their ending. Because here's the thing with Monster Hunter. You get the first set of credits, and then after that's when the end game begins, and then you'll get the real credits later. But if you don't care about that stuff, you'll be fine. They have a I'm not going to say it's the best story, but it's a pretty engaging story, a little bit more character focused. People can enjoy that just fine. But because the story completely shifts in the second half.
People aren't going to get there. Tony, we always talk about, especially with the trophies and stuff. Yeah. We always see it. It's like a rare, just chapter 2. In most games. Like, yo, what are you doing? Yeah. We're like a month in and we're still like that. I mean, people like to bitch about how long games are. Oh, blah, blah, blah. They don't even have enough time to put in for like 2 or 3 hours. So
No, I agree with you. And I think that's why they, quote unquote, made the game easier. They wanted people to just get through more of it. Because Anjan is like, what, the 5th, 6th monster in the first game? Like, in Monster Hunter World, like, people checked out after him, And Rich, going back to something you said, that knowledge of, like, Monster Hunter World definitely will help you survive because, Old Dog, there was times where I'm not thinking about it. I just know when to dodge and when to block because he carded me so much in World,
Mm-hmm.
So
wait, you keep saying carded. What does that mean?
Okay, so in this game, you don't die, you don't get killed. So you get knocked out, and they put you on a cart, and they wheel you like back to your camp.
Oh, carded. I thought like card, like you have to reach a certain level, and then it's like, all right, you hand in your card, like a a voucher to fight. You lose all your cards, and then you can't fight no more.
Yeah, that it's a term the Monster Hunter community has. You get carted, we're basically just put you on a fucking cart, and wheel you back to camp, But in this one, I like how, because you have a cat that helps you out, Adam. You know about that stuff, right? The fucking cat throws like liquid heals on you, like he's throwing water on you when he come back to camp. And I'm like, okay,
that's like real life.
Also, I like the fact that in the other game, when you eat a meal and you get carded, you have to eat again because all those effects wore off. But everything keeps going, which is nice. But yeah, overall, I'm having a blast. Oh, Jay Shep, to answer your question, I answered it in the chat already, but I answer it again. Rich, you played on PS5, I believe, right?
That's correct.
And I played on PS5 Pro. What setting did you use, Rich? I used Does the PS5 have balance mode?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was a balance mode.
Okay, so that's what I use on PS5 Pro
But
as well.
But let's answer the real question he meant to ask you, Tony.
Yeah.
Is this the best version of this game on PS5 Pro? Yes.
There you go. Yeah, sure. Although I will still say, if you want to play the best version of the game, get it on PC. That's what I would say. You know, because even on PS5 Pro, you still got to make compromises. Like if you put on performance mode, the graphics aren't going to be that great. If you put it on like fidelity mode, the frame rate's going to be shit. And balance is good, but you know it's not 60 frames per second. So if you can get it on PC, that's what I would suggest. But the game's a blast, man, and you know I'm very much looking. I've been looking the whole week. I've been like, yo, when Friday comes, get together with the crew. We back in there, man. I was actually looking through some of our old Monster Hunter streams from 2018, bro. Yo, we played World nonstop for like 2 months. Every weekend, you know, so I suspect we're gonna do that again. And then we always came back for the updates. I'm very surprised we never came back for Iceborne. We played the fuck out of Iceborne, but we never streamed it. So we'll be sure to stream whatever expansion. The developers, because I interviewed them, they said, yeah, expansions are coming. You know, so look forward to that. It's a blast, man. And do you guys have any questions before we move on to the next game we're gonna talk about? Brian, looking at you, you have any questions?
I do have a question to Rich, which is the question that everyone always wants to know. Should we buy it?
So that is a phenomenal question, and with no hesitation, 1000% yes. You should get this. If you are a fan of Monster Hunter, even if you're not a fan, you probably should check it out because you might become a fan. I will not.
I will not.
No, Adam doesn't like hunting innocent monsters, he says.
No, it's not even that.
But I will say this,
Yeah.
so that Adam doesn't think I am completely delusional when I say that I love this game. I'm looking forward to playing with all of you. But when that WWE game drops, I'm going to have to take a hiatus and go to WWE. I just have to say that because, yeah, that's coming in like next week. So,
I guess we'll be reviewing that.
So you said, peace out. You'll be in 2 of the Monster Hunter games, and then all of a sudden during Friday night, it's like, yo, where's Rich? And then you just look in the profile and you see he's playing WWE.
It just on his profile it just says, "Ooh yeah."
Yeah, that's it. Check out.
Yeah. All right, man. Good stuff there. Go check out Monster Hunter. And another game you should check out that Adam's about to tell us about is this is what I like to call it. I like to call it Yakuza Like a Pirate. That's what I like to call it.
That's what they should have called it because it's too damn long.
You know?
It's Like a Dragon Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii. What?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Come on now. But yeah, man, that game in my book, and I put that in my review, that bumped off Black Flag. At least when it comes to for pirating, yes, because it's a fresh take on it. Still simple with the pirating aspect, but it just brings new life into it, at least compared to what we've been getting.
Yeah.
Like Sea of Thieves and Skull and Bones. It's like not really catching that magic that we liked so much from Black Flag. I mean, the key aspect of just boarding ships, fighting ships, everybody talking smack while they're doing it. And you get that in this game.
Wait, Adam, so you're saying for a 10th of the time and probably a 20th of the budget, they made a superior pirate game?
Yes. By just being a pirate. Doing what people want and what they liked about Black Flag. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Again, Ubisoft, I feel no sympathy for all the stuff going on. Everything that's going on, man, I feel no sympathy.
Oh, by the way, we have another Ubisoft out for the week, but stay tuned for that.
It's like,
Chris, get ready.
It's like they had all the tools. They have everything laid out. And the community, a very vocal community, saying, hey, we like this, we like that. And then I guess the heads up's been like, nah, we'll just go our own way. Well, now you see where it goes. It goes right out the damn door. That's your own way. Go back to the damn. All right. So anyway, game is fun. You don't need to know Yakuza lore. You don't need to know any of that stuff. Of course, it helps because there's a lot of Easter eggs. You see a lot of returning characters. I won't spoil it, but throughout the story,
do you
there's
need
stuff
to
going
play the Hawaii game? Like, is it
No.
by itself?
Nope, it's standalone.
Okay,
It's
that's
not
good.
DLC. I brought that up in my review too when I first heard this. One, I thought this was fake. I think we were all in that chat when we saw it. We were like, "Oh, this is fake," right?
Everybody
And
thought it was fake. You
everybody
know?
thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Two, I was like, "Oh, this is definitely Infinite Wealth DLC," And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm looking forward to this," because in that you do travel to different islands in Hawaii. You travel around to different islands. So I'm like, "Oh, this is definitely that." And no, it's not that at all either. It is a standalone. It's not a cash grab because you are playing a completely different character, Goro, but
Goro,
which we
yeah.
do know, that we know from the other ones and stuff. He's in it, but he has amnesia. He doesn't know what's going on, which is great setup for people that are just coming in because you're on the same page as him. He doesn't know who he is, and you don't know who he is, so it doesn't even matter. And he's just immersing himself because once he gets on this island, a little boy, it's not a spoiler, everybody. This is just opening first 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
He wakes up on the beach. No, it's true, but it's true. You wake up on the beach. A little boy named Noah is there with a cat, which is really a tiger, but he keeps calling his kitty cat, and his cat. And you know what the cat's name is?
What?
Goro.
Goro? Oh shit.
Goro. Now,
funny.
I thought his name was gonna be Poliso.
No, Poliso. No, but I'll say that just because as a nod for people that played Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare, that whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got from this.
Oh,
but
okay,
anyway,
that's kind of cool.
Like is this no spoiler because it's just a clear answer for anybody who did. If you are part of familiar with the lore and seeing all this, you're probably thinking, well, maybe this is a dream. What's the chances the first person he meets has a pet tiger named Goro, which happens to be his name, which he can't remember.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is probably, anyway, it doesn't matter. All these people are walking around like 16th century pirates on this island. He's baffled by it, but hey, he jumps in, he fights. Great combat, 2 big combat systems. There's the main combat system, and then there's Sea Dog. And Sea Dog you get when you get to the point where you're actually a pirate. So it's not right away. You still have to do some game training, I should say. The typical stuff like, oh, these guys want to fight, and then freeze frame. Remember to press A for dodging, B for strong attack, that type of thing. So you get through that, and the story is wacky. It's a crazy story. And it's fun. It's fun. When you guys are talking about cooking, there's a lot of cooking in this game. There's a lot of menus. If you played in the Yakuza games, you're used to going to restaurants and buying it. Well, now it's similar type of meals, but you got to make it yourself.
Oh, shit.
So you have to find the ingredients, but then you can't just find it. Well, I guess you can, and you could buy it. But the cheap way is to find seeds. Once you find seeds, find little potting grounds to farm, and then you can plant them. And then you wait around 5-10 minutes. Some of them are a little longer, but the average 5-10 minutes, and then poof, you get your potato and beans and onions and all that stuff, and then you grab them all up, you carry them, and then you go to a pot, and then based off of the ingredients you have, are the things that you can make, and then once you select what you want to make, now you got a mini game.
Yeah,
so it's
of
like
course you got a mini game.
Tons. This game is full of mini games. A lot of fun ones. There's even a kart racer later on in the game. There's all kinds of stuff in this game. It's all single player though, just so you know, because it's all single player. But yeah, a lot of mini games on that, depending on the play that you're trying to make. It may have different mini games, parts of it, but the key is to do all the mini games as fast as possible. You get the best results. You get a star rating, which gives you a bonus. But all these things are like, oh, this will help for health, and this will help for defense. The meals, the typical stuff that you get. The combat system, when it comes to selecting, is just like it is in the other ones. If you don't know, you just pause it. You select your inventory. It's not like a real-time thing where they're attacking you. You have to take cover somewhere. Nope. You could be just in mid-flight, jumping in the air, pause it, eat some healing. You'll see him heal up as he lands, that type of deal. It's fun. It's tons of customization for your character as you progress on. Same thing with your ship. You can fully customize the ship. You can customize the crew. Get better crew. One guy slacking off he's too slow when loading. Kick him off the ship. Pick somebody else up on another island. You upgrade as you do combat. Same type of deal. Keep shooting them. Right trigger, starboard, port side, left side, you shoot. You got a machine gun. If that's not enough, press down on a D-pad, let go of the wheel, take out your rocket launcher. Yeah, why not? You have a rocket launcher, and then just blast them. Start shooting rockets. You get close when a ship is not moving, when it's immobile and it's just there. You can just pull up next to it, and then poof, now you can go on board. It does a nice little cutscene. You guys also all jumping, and then you just brawl it out, and then you collect the loot. Just like Black Flag, there's floating loot. You collect the floating loot. The guys on your team will call it out. Hey, there's something floating over there, bro. Let's go pick this up. Same type of deal. You have the main story path, and if you ever see the any pictures or footage of like these rings that the ship is going through, that is taking you onto the path of where you need to go. Fantastic idea, because even though like Black Flag, great. One thing I have to is that it did have that open world field, and it literally was like, if you wanted to, let's say point A to point B, that island was in front of you, you want to go all the way to the left, you could go all the way and find and explore some craziness. You can't really do that in this. It still has that open world feel, but sandboxing, just like other Yakuza games, when you're like, oh, I'm everywhere, and then you can't cross the street. That invisible wall telling you can't cross. Same type of deal. You go too far to the left, too far to the right, and it'll say, hey, we still need to explore this area. Hey, we have to go. It's telling you, and it just, invisible wall bumps you back. But still, there's a lot to do, and then once you do everything, then it expands out. Then it's like, okay, now we can go to that, because you could see other areas, you just can't go there. It's not like a fog of war situation. So if, let's say, you don't want to do the main mission, you want to just explore, that's one of the other things, is that you pick up pirate maps, and you can go on to different islands, and now this brings up the tower system that we're all familiar with for a lot of these Yakuza games. Where you go in, first level, easy, little harder, and then next, boss. No spoiler, but everybody probably seen this image already. One of the one that's making the rounds that everyone's seen is a bear. There's a bear that pops out, and you're just like brawling. Yeah, you're out of nowhere, and even the guys are like, "What is a bear doing?" I don't know, but we got to kill it. And then, but once you do, you get a chest. You can get different abilities. You get rings that you can wear, and they give you different abilities. Very RPG-like with all the things you can pull on. But it makes sense, especially for him being a pirate, being very flamboyant, as most pirates are, and to have all the rings, and you see it on his fingers as you're fighting and stuff. A lot of QTEs, but nothing too crazy. We're not talking like old God of War, square, triangle, none of that stuff. But it's more like, if it's pressed at the correct time, you'll trigger something, because as you upgrade, you get different moves, and one of those like really cool counter and power moves. So if you're fighting a bunch and then it prompts you, like I played on an Xbox, it prompts Y. If you press it just right, amazing cutscene happens. Him fighting around, putting the sword in, catching a sword in his mouth, taking his sword and just cutlass and chopping up some people and stuff. Really cool, fun game, lot to do in the game. But same thing with like I was saying, picking up characters and building out your crew. So if you get bored with the guys you have, no problem. If you don't want to do the story, like I said, you can just go to all these other areas. The boss battles are wild, but I feel like they all took, and we've seen this. What was it we were calling it? It wasn't Dark Souls, but it's like, where there's different levels of the same boss. Like he has different health bars, but then once it fills up again, now he has a different attack, that type of system. Yeah. Like a tier system boss, that's what it is. And just like in the other ones, it gives you that prompt beforehand. Are you ready to progress forward? Once it says that, and I said it in my review, say no. Every time that pops up, double check. You may have accumulated enough XP to upgrade some abilities. Do that. Go farm your stuff. Get a bunch of plates. You can never have too much health on you. Just stock up, because that's the issue here. Once you go to the boss battle, it's not like, all right, I see his health bar. Boom, I got rid of the health bar. All right, I win. No, it'll fill up. Now you got to do the second part of it. Oh, no. And then there's a little QTE thing. Now there's the third part of it. If you messed up on a QTE, you're going to take more damage. Maybe he hits you a few more times. It's more of like pressing the Y button or the X button to dodge different attacks. You dodge it all, great. You have your health. If not, you're taking a lot of damage, and you're going into that second round of that fight with less damage, and you can't heal, because they block that. During the boss fights, you can't do anything. So it's basically like just try to survive. There was one battle that I was like, this It took me a few times. I'm like, there's got to be stuff to find. So I spent most of my time running around looking. I was like, come on, man, there's got to be food or something. There was nothing. And I was like, all right, well, I know what I have to do. Pretty much had to do perfect of avoiding all those attacks when it would go into that QTE thing.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, it's not random. It's not like what God of War 3 did when they would randomize the QTE buttons. I hated that. That pissed me off. When you're trying to remember what they were, and it's like, oh, I remember. And then it's like, you try it again, and then they switch them around to make it more challenging, I guess. But it's just, anyway, this doesn't do that. So if you had some trouble, don't rage quit. Just come back and just try to remember, because it goes into a nice little cutscene every time that happens. Beautiful game. There's even a musical number. No spoiler. It's just so fun. It happens fairly early on, and it'll just put a smile on your face because you're like, wow, this is a fun game. A lot of fun dialogue. One of my only gripes, not so much a gripe, but it's just something that it always bothers me when I play any game that has full audio for some parts and then text boxes.
Yeah.
Just make it all audio. We've seen games do it. Plenty of games do it. Spider-Man does it. I mean, there's so many games that has tons of audio, and or even a Division. There's tons of NPCs interact. They all have audio. This, you could be having a conversation with one character, have a cutscene, go in, talk to somebody. Hey, how you doing? And then the guy right next to them will just do the dialogue box.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it takes me out of it. If everyone's talking, I'm hearing all these wacky voices. Yeah, and then now I got this guy with the dialogue box. But that's the only thing. It was like, I just want them going forward. Just make it all audio. Just do it.
Yeah, but you know that's kind of typical for Japanese games.
Right? Yeah.
That's how they
I
save
know.
money. You know.
Exactly. That's why I said it's not really a gripe, like the game's fault. It's just something I would have hoped that they would improve on and move forward and say, you know what, let's just go all in. Whether it's all Japanese, do it all Japanese. Japanese, English. I played it on English. Japanese was first, and then as I was playing, they released an update, and I was like, oh, what's this update? Oh, here you go. You want English? Let's do that. I know that language.
Yeah, I don't need to hear one. Yeah, so I'm good.
Yeah. You know, so
he's not modular.
I know. Wait, is he in the game though?
I'm not.
Yeah, wait, that would be a spoiler.
Yeah, I guess we can't answer that. But anyway, I was just being an asshole, throwing him under the bus. Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, I don't think. Yeah, I remember this, but yeah, but it's a fun game, and like I said, the pirate aspect of it, of the ship and navigation, real simple to pick up. Of course, as you play, you can upgrade, add more things. You get a smoke bomb, or you can just throw smoke, and then they can't see you attack. You can evade. One of the funny moves that you can do is a boost to a drift, and they call it drifting with the ship, which is kind of funny to see this pirate ship that's on sails, and all of a sudden just do this really like Fast and Furious type drift, and you see the waves going up on the sides, like so it's like, all right, whatever. I mean, they throw in a lot
obviously. They're obviously having a lot of fun with
yeah. Like I said, like even with the rocket launcher, I was like, what? And then another cool thing is, when you're in combat, just to keep it balanced, so it's not just attack, cooldown, you will take damage, but you can repair. But if you repair, then you can attack. So when you press X, and I guess that would be square on PlayStation, let's say you're taking a lot of damage, you can press that. Or just know that all your guys are going to stop shooting cannons, and they're going to go and repair the ship, and you'll see the meter of the ship getting repaired. So just try to circle around, and it's easier to do when there's one. When there's like 2 or 3 ships, then it gets a little more tricky. But you can do that, and then also you'll see a meter of all your guys, and you can see if some get damaged and they go down. If they go down, you can let go of the wheel and go and revive them like a down person, and then they go back to work. They're like, "Thanks, Captain," and then they run back to their job and do their thing. So it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I like it. If anybody is interested in a good pirate game, this is it. I'm not going to try to push it on anyone into Yakuza because they already have it. If you're into Yakuza games, you know what I mean? You don't need to sell them on it. There's so many people that are invested in that world, and we know this because they keep producing more of these games in the same world. So the fact that they do that says people are buying them, and it's a great escape. That's one of the things I brought up. I'm like, this is such a refreshing, all these Yakuza games, because the stories are always wacky. The chicken is here. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. The chicken is here, and it's those type of things. When you see it, and you're like, oh, it's just great. It's just great. I love these games. It made me want to go back to finish going with Infinite Wealth because I didn't get to put as much time as I wanted. I got like a good amount of time, but still, it feels like it's never enough because as much as you do the main mission, there's so much crazy, wacky side stories.
And you don't want to miss the side stuff. It's so good, you know?
Yeah, they go it's so good. And they throw in stuff and the dialogue and the things they start talking about. A lot of it is not, PC, it's like, whoa, how are they getting away with it? Japan. Well, they're getting away with it. It's Japan, exactly. It's like they don't have that filter. They don't have that issue that a lot of things that we're dealing with. So they can say whatever they want. And it's very noticeable, but it's also very comical when you hear it and you're like, all right, let's go with this. All right, I want to see what happens. Good stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and definitely recommend it.
Good stuff, man. All right, people, you already know. Go check out Monster Hunter and Yakuza Like a Pirate, as I'm calling it. All right, yeah, it's the pirate Yakuza game. You'll know it. All right, let's get into some news. This week was crazy. We got to talk about the big one here. WB shuts down Monolith Studios, among others. The industry is still bleeding. By the way, I got to say this. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the guy, he's been making a lot of good videos lately. So I got to give a little bit of a shout out to RGT85. He did a recent video. It's like the last video he posted was about how we're already in the middle of a video game crash. And he was like, hey, guys, I've been telling you this. I'm like, so have I, and this is another perfect example. WB, the Monolith Studios, if you don't know, they worked on, the Shadow of Mordor games. The Nemesis system, which I still maintain is a true next-gen gaming system, right? Great studio. Now they're done. And on top of that, the Wonder Woman game that was going to use a version of the Nemesis system, they call it the Nemesis system in reverse. It's going to be more like an ally system. Game's done. Canceled. So, yeah. Western Game Studios.
No one's surprised. Yeah. Nobody was surprised after Suicide Squad, right? I'm pretty
sure. But
ahead,
I'm
Chris.
surprised at what got shut down. Why isn't Rocksteady on the chopping block? So Rocksteady, Rocksteady in name only, develops a bomb, right? They don't get cut. Monolith, the studio that's been around 30 years with this pedigree, with a system you patented and can make tons of money off of, that's the one you cut? And then including like WB San Diego, there was other studios too that they cut with this. But this is ridiculous. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're subsidizing Rocksteady's failure by shutting down like unrelated studios, especially one with a pedigree like Monolith?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Was it? But Monolith wasn't like 7 years since their last release? That's crazy.
Well, there's one thing I did want to add because Mr. Jason Schreier, we know who this individual is.
He's the one that broke the story, yeah.
Yeah, he was on Kind of Funny yesterday, and he had a long, extensive interview where he went into a lot of details. And from what it sounds like, Monolith, whoever was in charge of Monolith at the time, they wanted to make a new IP, and WB would not allow them to make a new IP because so that caused some issues as well. And a lot of people left because apparently at all of these studios, all the people that were in charge, even with Rocksteady, everybody left to get for other opportunities whenever this new guy came in as CEO. So,
and then to answer your thing, Chris, I think the reason why they didn't get rid of Rocksteady is because out of all those studios, that's the only one that still has like name value. It still has
anymore. Then after
but even that, if you remember, even when the developers, when Suicide was having issues and people were like, what's with this gameplay and stuff? And I remember it was on Twitter, some of the guys coming out, development guys, and it's like, hey, this wasn't the original idea for this. The powers that be implemented a lot of that microtransaction, a lot of that other game, but that wasn't their original idea. But hey, they got to do what the bosses say. So.
Yeah, so go ahead, Chris.
You do have some control over that because, I mean, their directive can be live services, and we have to monetize transactions. We have to parse the game to increase revenue, right? Okay, somebody explain to me why Mr. Freeze looks the way they do, or any of the characters. But explain that. That came from an executive? Like, I don't think so.
No, that's on them. And I want to go back to a point you made, Chris. This is so true. You're not punishing the studio that caused you to let go of Monolith. Let's just be honest here. They needed to make cuts because they lost. How much money did they lose off this fucking game? It was like a million, like hundreds of millions of dollars.
I think it's 200.
They capped it at 200. I guarantee it was more.
It was more, yeah. So you're cutting down these studios, but you're not cutting the studio that force you to do this. You know, it makes no fucking sense. You know, so it's a damn shame. And then obviously, you know, as we learn, WB has the patent for the Nemesis system until 2036, and they don't seem to be interested in selling it to anyone or licensing it or anything. So they're just going to order.
Wait, what was that year?
2036.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they're just
going to 11
years.
years.
This thing. Yeah, they're just going to sit on this thing. You know they're not going to. Yeah, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
So Tony is confirming here live tonight on Throwdown that WB, they are the new Nemesis. They have gone after their studios, you know, made all of these changes. And the one thing I do want to make a comment about, you're probably going to get to this later, is what the hell do they think they're going to release this year, which means that they will still be active going into next year? Because there's only one game I know that they are releasing that's actually a new game. Everything else is going to probably be a definitive edition of a game they've already released. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because what was it, Rich? They said that they're going to focus on Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and Mortal Kombat, right?
And there's one more. It's one more too. I don't know what the other one is.
Okay, because
Batman, wasn't that the thing
Batman,
that they were
that's it.
That's
it.
Yes.
Rocksteady was making, and maybe that's the other reason why they didn't let him go.
You better release another Hogwarts. Rich, there's the answer. Hogwarts Legacy Game of the Year edition. That's actually dropping this year, so that's the only thing
that's definitely coming.
Yeah. But like Mortal Kombat, that's about after the T1000 update. I think that's it for that game. You know, Batman, they've screwed that up. You know, and Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. You know, I don't know what WB Games is going to do, man.
I heard that our very own Chris is looking forward to this Game of Thrones mobile game. So you know, hey, that might be a success. That might be a success.
I gotta take what I can get.
Yeah,
I take the scrap.
Yeah.
Chris, you play mobile game, Chris?
No,
you play
he's
mobile
fucking
games?
with him, man. He's fucking with him.
anything could be passed. Maybe he got this awesome.
Chris is a man of refined taste. He's not playing that mobile trash.
No.
Fuck that shit.
My mobile system's a Steam Deck.
There you go.
That's it.
You go.
Only way to go.
Yeah, man. So yeah, this is very.
You go where I go.
Yeah, very upsetting news, but. You know, this industry is the industry that keeps on giving, man. It's fucking insane. Anybody else have any other thoughts on this?
I'm surprised they didn't just sell off.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to sell them off.
No, they're not. Go ahead, Rich.
I just want to ask a question to everybody on the panel, those listening. So which studio do you think is going to be the next one to get axed with under WB?
Again, if they had any common sense, ask Rocksteady. They're the ones that caused all this shit.
Yeah,
you know. But Rich, to answer your question with a question, what other studios do they have? Like, I don't think they're going to rid another realm. You know.
That is a phenomenal question, Tony.
Phenomenal question.
Yes.
Phenomenal question.
Oh, yeah. So NetherRealm, from what I heard, they have been approached about doing, bringing back Injustice type of stuff. So maybe they will go back to that after Mortal Kombat. Because the thing I find funny is when they said they want to focus on DC properties, they specifically meant Batman. So that Wonder Woman game, get that trash out of here. That's what they said. That's what they said. They didn't say it explicitly, but that's what they meant, because that game was already in development. That is considered a DC property. They said, no, get that trash out of here. Only Batman. So, but no, the Game of Thrones game, I don't know who's making that. they still have the guys that made the Lego games, and that was another revelation. Yeah. There is some Lego game coming out either the end of this year or the start of next year. That again, Jason Schreier mentioned that on the interview too.
It. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I was thinking of Drive, but then I forgot that was 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did that Lego one.
Rich, since you heard that interview, like, was there anything else that came out of it that you found interesting?
I found interesting how he said that all the people that were in charge of those studios, the higher ups, when the CEO moved over and they had a change of leadership, every single person that was a part of those studios left. So even with Monolith, the original people in charge of Monolith, they left because they were working on a new IP that Warner Brothers did not want to go that route. They said, no, we need to stick with franchises people know, so we're not going to invest any money into this. They already had invested some money into it, and they were already in development of this other IP. Then when they cut that project, that's when the person in charge of that project left. So pretty much a lot of the people, it's been a constant cycle at Warner Brothers. The people who were there, you saw what happened with Rocksteady. Yeah. The guys, Sefton Hill, they left as well. So, yeah, the change of leadership changed a lot of things. And one comment that was made is that the guys who worked on Monolith, they went over to work on that Black Panther EA game, the Cliffhanger Studios. They were the ones that went over to that. They did ask Jason Schreier on there, is that a game that we should be concerned about? He said, oh, well, we'll talk about that in the future. So that, I don't know what that means, because I haven't heard nothing else about that game since they've announced it. Obviously, it's in development, but I guess EA will talk about that in the future because EA has also been having some issues as of late with the sales and products. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, thanks for checking that out because I don't really mess around kind of funny like that. So I'm glad.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Let's go. By the way, we're in the part of the show where we're just talking about a bunch of L's that happened. So a lot of L's in gaming this week. Next one, Rich. I remember you actually confided in me to let me know that you were very upset by this news. You're looking forward to this.
Oh, I was?
Yeah, the Fable. It's not coming this year, man. I know you were looking forward to it.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that, right? I wasn't looking forward to the game. I like Playground. Obviously, you probably have another story later about Playground. So it's fine they delayed that game, but now a lot of people are saying, well, because that game got delayed, does this mean that we're getting another game such as Gears? Because Gears has been in development. This Gears E-Day game has been in development for a long time. So if that game is coming this year instead, I'm 100% okay with that. But we'll see.
They need to completely rehaul this game because if those ugly character traits didn't go by, this is going to be another Dragon Age. By the way, I don't have it in shows. So we got to talk about Dragon Age, man. That is funny, as Brian alluded to. Veilguard, By the way, Reggie's been hanging out in the chat the whole time. What's up with Monster Hunter, man? Actually, wait, you still got 15 more minutes. Manny, he is very adamant that you draw the Smith girl from Monster Hunter, the blonde one with the big tits, Gemma.
Gemma.
He's like, yo, man, if E-Man does a throwdown draws, I'll be throwing money at him the whole time. But yeah, so I was talking to Rich and Reggie about this. This is what I like about Reggie. He types the way he talks. So he was like, yo, man, when was Fable announced? He's like 2022. It's like 2020. Reggie, yo, Carlos, you're like this. Reggie writes ... Man, listen.
No, listen.
Yo, man, like, dude, this game's been gonna be in development for 6 fucking years, and the way that's going, I don't think it's gonna make his money back, man. It's gonna be Dragon Age Veilguard and Avowed all over again. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, I do think that Microsoft is definitely, this is their decision to do this because they decided that Playground was a studio that they wanted to make this game. You have Obsidian and others that actually do RPGs who could have made this game, but they decided, and maybe Playground wanted to try something different. That's totally fine. But from what I understand, they've had to get some assistance on this game. Now, I don't know which studios are helping them. Maybe Obsidian is helping them. But Playground, definitely, you will hear about this when the game eventually comes out. There were other people helping them. It's not just Playground, because Playground specializes in the Forza games. They don't have nothing to do with this with this other type of stuff. So clearly, they had to get some assistance on this game.
Yeah, get the racing game team to work on an RPG. That's smart.
I thought it was Turn 10 that really did the racing part. I thought the Playground did all the arts and stuff, but Turn 10 was all about the real racing aspect of it. So I think they do all the other stuff.
Well, no, yeah, because they had Forza Horizon and the regular Forza Motorsport. Turn 10 did Forza Motorsport. So
okay, all right.
Playground did the Horizon series, which, in my opinion, and maybe Carlos will back me up, that is way better. That is their best series compared to the other series. This Forza Horizon is way better than the Forza Motorsport. So
I'm gonna have to concur with that as well.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
It's
if you're
fun.
not, because if you're not into Sims, it's open world, all this craziness happening. I mean, nothing tops Horizon 4 when you had the Lego version. You had the cars and then the big Lego world and banging into trees and seeing Lego bits everywhere. That was fun.
Yeah, no, I like the Forza Motorsport games. I respect them, obviously. They're basically Xbox's answers to Gran Turismo, but I like the fun stuff,
and it plays on your Steam Deck.
It does.
They all play on them. Yep, 4 and 5.
So yeah, there you go. Fable delayed. I don't even think this game's gonna come out next year, man. I don't even think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be another fucking Beyond Good and Evil situation. They just keep promising it's going to come out, but it actually never does. I could be wrong, but we'll see, All right, next up here. Adam, I put this one in specifically for you because this is interesting. Apparently, Activision's in hot water right now because they're using AI in Call of Duty assets. Have you heard about this?
Oh, what did they? I mean, I always assumed
this. Oh shit!
Because no reason why. Because I always assumed that they did because they mentioned. What was it? Was it last year or something where people were noticing that if you bought certain packs, once you bought the weapon and I'm blanking on the name. They don't call them character packs. It's when you bought any of the purchase packs, they're like $20. They would come with a weapon, and people noticed that when they use these weapons, they were getting a bunch of kills, and at least for the first few games. And then next, they weren't doing them as well with the damage. The aiming wasn't right, and it turned out because somebody had leaked it that there was some system in the back that would just pretty much do like an auto aim boost to these items, so then that way it would make you feel a little better about the purchase of spending $20 plus tax and stuff for cosmetics and for this included weapon. So it did that extra boost, and people found out, and it was a backlash for a little bit, but then it just phased out because people don't care really. They just want to keep buying. So when I heard that there was some AI aspect on the back end of it, I'm like, yeah, of course there is, because they were doing it before for their items to help sell these items.
Yeah, but
it's a little bit of a different thing.
Yeah, this is a different situation. Basically, by the way, when the hell did you have to start registering to IGN to look at the fucking content? Like, this wasn't like this today. What the fuck?
Well, it's because they want you to look at their ads. That's why.
Jesus, I have to go to another. It's funny because
you have to turn off your ad blocker or something.
I'm going to go to another website and look at it. Call of Duty. Anyway, so what happened is they put out some like weird ad for. I would be reading this, but I can't look at it for some Santa Claus shit, and people notice, hey, that zombie has 6 fingers. And people accused Activision of using AI. Activision didn't say nothing, but then they had to finally admit it. And people were very upset about that. It's like, dude, if you're going to use that shit, at least be upfront about it. Don't try to hide it, Especially when it's so fucking egregious. We all know AI has problems with hands,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with all this. I mean, we see AI everywhere, and they keep promoting it as if like, oh, this is the best thing to have for everything. Oh, AI will work for your business on the back end. AI will help you with solving other issues in your life. I'm like, come on now. Everybody's pushing it. I hate the fact that any web browser that I use, that I search, the first thing that comes up is that generated AI
Yeah,
thing.
and then you have to verify that shit because you don't know if it's
Yeah.
listen, half the time that shit tells you wrong fucking information. You know?
Yeah. I was looking up something for an address, and it kept telling me in a different state, and I'm like, "What are you doing? This is wrong."
Yeah. So let me read this real quick. This is from Windows Central. Activision and the development team behind Call of Duty have confirmed what many have speculated for months. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Warzone contain AI-generated content. During Black Ops 6's Season 1 Merry Mayhem event, players spotted a loading screen that featured a zombie Santa Claus with 6 fingers, a hallmark characteristic of AI-generated content. With a little digging, more in-game cosmetics, including loading screens, weapon decals, and player cards that were handed out as rewards and purchased as part of bundles found in the game store, were likely AI-generated as well. At the time, Activision remained silent on the potential use of generative AI in Call of Duty, even as player backlash grew louder. Users on Reddit went so far as to express frustration at being fed quote-unquote AI slop in a full-price AAA game that is rampant with battle passes, event passes, and microtransactions for cosmetics. So AI-generated content wasn't showing up in-game as rewards. Social media posts for the holidays from Infinity War and Treyarch were both marred with generative AI. Similarly, job postings from Activision have shown the publisher and its studios were on the hunt for talent with generative AI skills. Like, that takes much skills. With the launch of Modern Warfare 3 in 2023, Activision publicly announced a partnership with Modulate, an AI-powered chat moderation tool. The publisher also confirmed that AI chat moderation has been used in Black Ops 6 since launch. Fuck.
Told you that stuff is. That's what I'm saying. Bro. It was in the bag for a lot of things, and that's why it came up when people noticed with the gear and stuff. So I'm not surprised. It's sad though, because you know it's not going to stop. They're just going to keep doing it. It's cheaper.
Yeah, but you're paying for all this, you know.
Yeah. They're just trying to save money. Yeah.
So
as if they're hurting.
Yeah. That's crazy shit. So now it makes you wonder. Jason goes, Brett is somewhere listening, about to throw a chair. I don't know about that. He's still kind of drugged.
That's what I wanted to do. Because FC, the EA FC, one of the things that they had issues with, they have the faces for all the big names. But if you weren't a big name and just a back end or a bench player, whatever, you didn't have your face. You had a generic face. So with 25, they were like, oh, we do automatic face mapping, similar to like when a lot of these games, the NBA 2K had it to where you can scan your face and then they would just automatically. So they said they were going to scan images, and then eventually they said, no, the AI was just going to do it. So they would just receive the images from the clubs or whatever. Hey, this is our roster. And this AI system was going to scan it. And that's something I'm going to check up tonight to see how that worked. Because I forgot about it until we brought it up now to see how that AI is doing it. Because whatever you mess up, and let's say Tony, it puts you in, they send an image and it's like an Asian guy. It's not you, but it's linked to your name. Will it know the difference and just put an Asian dude?
We have a story about that.
There you go.
My boy Mike, for whatever reason, decided to have a AI created version of me. It looked nothing like me. It looked like some fucking Mexican guy. Like what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like if it's scanning the image and let's say it just can't determine the nationality or certain things, does it just pick one? It says I'm not. Yeah, that's it. You're just gonna be an Asian dude.
Yeah. No.
So I'm gonna check that out.
I'm fucking Chicano according to AI.
Well, statistically, it's like, well, if it has to choose, might as well choose Asian because 2/3 of their population.
That's a good point. And Manny, you brought up a good point. Since there's not a lot of pictures of me out there, it can't draw from anything.
Well, the way that system works is that it bases it off of at least the one that's on Twitter or X. It bases it off of whatever's on there. So it's why you can generate a perfect Phil Spencer and it look relatively like him.
Yeah, that's whereas
like Tony, somebody like Tony or anybody else, there's not enough images of us on there. So
he tried to make one of you didn't look anything like you because again, there's not a lot of pictures of you either.
Well, it just bases it off of whatever's there
on Twitter. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Twitter's looking through everything that's on there anyway. So,
how did you guys go on and start that query? At least for Manny, like, do you just say, "Can you print a picture of Emilio Lopez?" Or
I don't know what Mike asked.
I'm not sure what the prompt is that he used. Yeah. That's funny. That's the old adage now. Now, when you do art, they ask you what prompt did you use. Now, we don't know what prompt that he used to do it. But yeah, on Twitter you can generate images, but it needs a little bit of coaxing, and then obviously it'll fight you back if you choose certain things. It'll say like, I can't generate that, but I can do something similar, and that's what it'll do.
It didn't give me any lip about Phil Spencer. Like, sure, here you go.
No, it did Phil Spencer, but you know.
But Copilot obviously didn't do Phil Spencer. Like, I can't generate him. I can show you pictures from Getty. Getty images.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on.
I mean,
go ahead.
There's a lot of ethical issues with all of that too, because if you can generate any person, you can generate them. You know, especially as it's getting closer and closer to, you know, they're looking pretty damn good these days. Yeah. Like, you know, now you can they've generated images of the president and all kinds of people doing all kinds of fucked up crazy things.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but I saw that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like, bro.
Yeah, so it's like, it's there's nothing that they can't make you. These things can't make you say or do, and that's the scary part, and that's where the ethics go in there. But they want to push toward AI, right?
Hey, AI, let's go. All right, let's talk about the latest Ubisoft L of the week, because every week is always something. Apparently, Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay is being leaked online as early review copies are already in players' hands. So people are playing the game. Chris, it doesn't end, man. And did you see Ubisoft actually came out to say, please don't spoil things if you have the game? Yeah, you're inviting people to spoil shit, bro.
Oh, that's guaranteed, man. There's probably guys going to stream this shit. They probably got streams up now.
Yeah, they can't stop it. So, yeah, this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be an absolute disaster.
The whole game has been a disaster. Ubisoft's been a disaster. Ubisoft L's that we talked about. And then, I mean, Japan is pissed. Yeah. I don't know if they could take some fucking legal action. It sounds like the government's going to try to do something. They really screwed up with this one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No.
Yeah. By the way, no. The reason I'm not talking.
Well, and one happy news, I guess, before there is a Division season year 6 that came out. That's something if anybody wants to jump back to Division 2. It's not the big one. They didn't go to Brooklyn. It's not that one, but it's a free DLC. And it threw me off at first because they sent it to me in the mailbox, with my emails, and Rich got this to me. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was like, $30. I'm like, is this it? Is this really? And it wasn't. That's just if you wanted bonus points for the battle pass, so that way you didn't have to play the whole thing. You just get all the content from it. If you want that, you could pay for it, or you could just jump in there and play. And a lot of story missions, manhunts, and stuff like that. So that's good. I like the Division. Going back, I booted up. I'm completely lost now. They did. Yeah, the voice of God would be flipping out again. They didn't scrap everything, but they came up with all these new systems and skill trees. And it's like before it was the watch. Now there's some other level. Everywhere I went, there was like different levels. Oh, you're level 1.5 in this and 2.5. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing now. It felt a little bit overwhelming. So it's like, well, I'll think about it on the weekend.
Yeah. By the way, an hour into this show, because I'm looking at the sound mix and stuff. I'm like, well, I sound kind of low, Then I went to properties for mic. The OBS has been picking up this mic the entire time. Because isn't that something? So I guess but nobody complained about it in the chat.
You don't sound low. You don't sound low.
No, you guys are hearing this. They're hearing this, because this is called Elgato 3 mic in, right? That option isn't listed on Discord anymore for some fucking reason. So apologies to people who listen. But again, dudes in the chat haven't been complaining, so I guess that's good. There's a good microphone, I guess,
They have closed caption on that. Yeah. Why they gaming or doing something.
Okay, so you know what? I could live with that. If this is going to be some bullshit, I could live with that. Because again, I only care what the audience hears at the end of the day. So that's good. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, Ubisoft, absolute disaster. This game's gonna bomb, and it's gonna be funny watching it. So stay tuned. And the last, yeah, go ahead.
I agree. It's probably gonna bomb, but I'm scared for the after effect. Look what's going on with WB. Are we gonna see that? Do they just start cutting all these studios?
Yeah, or probably. They were already cut studios. Well,
that's what I'm saying. Is what more can they do?
Well, the aftermath of that is they will release Black Flag remastered later this year to try to recover.
Yeah,
because we already know that's in development. So that's
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, Ubisoft. I don't know what they're gonna do, man, because this game is gonna bomb badly, man. Real
like
bad.
I said, Yakuza Pirates is out there. And
people
pick it up and play it. They're gonna be like, I guess I could go back to that old one. It was good enough, but this is a new, fresh take on the pirate genre. I might stick with this.
Oh. One last comment I will make. Yes, we will see what happens with Assassin's Creed Shadows. We will absolutely have something to say about that game when it comes out. I see some people have already started receiving copies, including some people we know. So yeah, we'll see what that means in the future.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about the game for sure. Stay tuned. All right, man. And the last fail of the day, and I mean by fail, I mean veil of the day.
Whoa.
Dragon Age Veilguard. Brian, how long was it again? You said it at the beginning of the show.
Oh no, that was towards Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, okay.
I thought because the trailer came out in December 2023, and it's February 2025, and the game's out.
Isn't that amazing? So in
14 months, they announce it and release it.
Yeah.
By the way, I started playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Can't connect online. Epic fail.
Uh-oh.
Good. Is it bogged down? Must be.
Yeah.
Must be slammed.
I'm going to say this. It must be because tonight when I went, I'm like, oh, shit, there's a ton of people everywhere because all the Asians are getting in there, I was like, oh, shit, look at the Japanese names. But here's the thing. Since they're still getting the ropes, I was actually teaching them shit, which is kind of funny. Like, one of them, they were hunting a monster, and the monster got tired and stuff. So we all follow the monster to its lair. And, it goes to sleep. And then these guys started hacking at it. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? So I set the trap. Set the tranquilizer, put the monster to sleep, and the Japanese guys they hit me with the "I'm sorry" emoji. Like, yo, don't just capture it, bro. Don't kill it. Oh man. Okay, so I gotta look this up. When did Veilguard come out? That was December.
I think it was October.
It came out.
Yeah.
Tony, you should remember this. It came out on the scariest day of the month,
Halloween.
October 31st.
Yeah. It came out on a day as scary as some of the ugly characters in the game. Okay, so we could say November, right? Full November, December, January. Yeah, 4 months almost. Wow. 4 months. And this game's already free. They can't even give this shit away, And
it's not really free. I mean, they took a big chunk. Was it on PlayStation Plus thing, right? So PlayStation paid them a good amount.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You don't really have to pay the full $70 because this game was a prelude to Assassin's Creed Shadows. I guarantee you that. I don't think anybody's going to care. I doubt they're going to even release a Game of the Year edition. No one's going to buy that shit,
And did they have DLC planned? Did they say?
Yeah, they did it. They scrapped it. They scrapped it all. For who's going to buy it? No one's going to buy that shit. It's a horrible game. And I said this. Here's the thing, and this is a good point because for years I've been saying if this game and Mass Effect fail, Bioware's done. But I'm at the point where I'm like, I think EA may say, fuck Mass Effect. You're done, BioWare. This is some bullshit. And I wouldn't blame them. what's that saying? Like, play stupid games, win stupid prices. Yeah, you're gonna be playing a very stupid game if you pick this one up on PSN. You know.
So are they still going forward with the Mass Effect, or is that just
rumor? I mean, no. They already officially announced it. Yeah, they already officially announced it.
Yeah, they announced it.
So we'll see it. But again, what did we? You know what they said, Adam? They said the same team. This is what they said about DLC for Dragon Age Veilguard. They said we're not going to be working on that because we have the same team working on the new Mass Effect. The same team that brought you this failure is working on Mass Effect. Yeah, that gives me hope.
I hope it's still not the same team that did Andromeda.
Who knows, man? Who knows? It's upsetting. So there it is. All right, and the last two stories here, which are more good stories. Forza Motorsport.
They're more good?
Yeah, more good. You know, they're gooder. Forza Motorsport 5 is coming to PlayStation. Because, damn it, IGN. Anyway, April 25th coming out. Because we didn't have a release. We didn't have a release date before, I believe.
I do have a comment to make on this story.
Yeah.
You made the comment, Tony, that this is good news. Well, it is great news because if you're a Forza fan, you know, but obviously if you are a diehard Xbox fan, it is not good news because the game is PS5 Pro enhanced.
Uh-oh.
And that's what people were talking about online because they're like, wait a second. So, yes, the best version of the game will be on PS5 Pro, from what I understand, unless, of course, you have a PC.
I wonder if it's gonna. It should support Thrustmasters. You know, like the racing
That's what
wheels.
She said.
Like that. That's what she said. Yeah, because that's. I mean, whenever I play it, remember I had that racing wheel in the corner. You know, I used to play it all the time, and then until I stopped. But that's a big thing that I'm sure a lot of people on PlayStation are going to be excited to do, to use their racing wheel and play some Forza.
Yeah. By the way, so this Kotaku, they have a very interesting headline here. Forza Horizon 5 pioneers bizarre new form of early access garbage on PS5. Ooh.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, PlayStation owners get the chance to pay $100 to play an already released game a few days early. Yeah, this is interesting.
But it's still new on that platform. It's nothing different than we haven't seen with Nintendo, with they're still charging full price for a game that's like $30-$20 on other platforms. And they're like, what, 60 here? It's on the Switch. So I could see why they kept that markup for the PlayStation 5 version.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so I'll read this. Forza Horizon 5, which launched over 4 years ago on Xbox and PC, is making a leap to PlayStation 5 soon, April 25th. But because it's 2025, the game will lock, quote-unquote, early access to Xbox's open-world driving sim behind a pricey special edition. It's the next evolution in publishers holding games hostage for extra money. I don't disagree with that sentiment. Last month, Xbox and Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, which launched exclusively on Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, and PC. That's not very exclusive. That's a lot of platforms. In 2021, was set to be the next big game. Who cares? Whatever. Here we go.
I love how they just they resaid the same thing there. In the first paragraph, they mentioned that it's launched on those platforms, and then they said the same thing again, but then they named out each platform. It's like, why?
Because you have to. It's because of the word counts, and they have to hit a certain amount of
SEO
counts.
It's bullshit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Horizon 5 is a very good open world racing game that will now have a brand new audience of players, and that's awesome. What isn't awesome is, in fact, shitty, dumb, and greedy, is that Xbox is going to charge PS5 players $100 to play the game a few days early, despite Horizon 5 being a game that released back in 2021. Also, Brian, they already said that. Like, yo, get a fucking editor.
Here's the question. Is this multi-plat? Like, cross-platform play?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, their last titles were.
Dude, I just don't know if the PlayStation, if
they were multiplayer because it was all on Xbox. That's why.
No, but they worked on PC. You could play with the PC. So I'm wondering, now that this is officially on PlayStation, will it play with Xbox and PC?
I have no idea. Charge PlayStation users $100 for the special edition. That's crazy, man. So that's not so great news. But what is great news is seeing all the Xbox cry. That was a fun day, man. It was a fun day.
I don't know if there's that
Seeing
many.
the Xbox crying. It's just now the fan base is just one giant Xbox and it's crying.
Yeah, no, the Xbots, Xbots. Yeah, that was funny.
It just sounded like you said the Xbox.
No,
the Xbox.
No, the Xbots, bots,
or
the
baby.
bots. Yeah. No, the Xbox is happy, probably. And the last
Microsoft is happy.
Yeah. All right,
people are gonna pay it.
Yeah,
that's why we see so many games do that held hostage, where it's like, oh, play it a week early. It should be that release date.
Yo, imagine if this game sells better on PlayStation because you actually have to buy it physically or separately, I should say.
It has a larger install base, so you would think it would sell.
But I mean, you actually have to buy the game. It's not like play it on Game Pass,
No, yeah, you can't just do that. So
yeah,
there's a good chance. I don't know. They didn't go into detail as to what the profits were on a lot of those Game Pass exclusive type titles. So I mean, like Hi-Fi Rush, I can't. A lot of people probably Xbox fans obviously didn't buy that. They probably paid it on Game Pass. Yeah. So how much did that make when it was thrown onto the other thing? Same thing with Sea. Well, Sea of Thieves did have a release, and it was released before the Game Pass stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
But the Honey the Kids game didn't. That was a early Game Pass, as I remember.
Was it years ago? Turn 10. They were interviewing a developer about like the car packs, and I was like, oh, I forgot what special car, some Mitsubishi something. They were like, when is this coming? It's like. They said that the most expensive part, in respect, the most expensive game, but this is before Call of Duty, they said was the whole Forza and even Horizon, because of all the licenses they had to get to use those real world cars and to get all the parts and stuff like that. So even when they made a deal with, let's say, Porsche, to get the cars, then to make sure they had all the detail, very expensive. And some of them were just for maybe 1 year, not multi-year deals, some multi-year. So people were like, oh, you had the car in the last game and not in this one. No. And same reason why they can't show damage, because a lot of the car manufacturers don't want to show their cars and videos of getting all smashed up and looking damaged. So they were like, it's very expensive to get all those licenses. And when people are like, man, you guys have all of them. It's like, yeah, and Microsoft paid out the nose to get all those licenses in the game.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, there you go. Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation 5. And the last story, I feel this is one of those stories where I'm gonna say this came out of nowhere, and Manny's gonna be like, I told you about this, but I think you didn't know about this one either.
Which one?
Terminator 2D, no fate. Everybody,
I posted that inside of the.
No, I'm talking about. So you didn't tell us about this like months ago, right?
No, I didn't.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I this felt like one of those stories. Like, wait, nobody knows about this. Like, this came out of nowhere.
Well, no, I mean, in general, they only just revealed it today. There was no real trailers or anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. They just dropped it. Like, holy shit, and it looks fucking awesome. It looks like Contra and shit.
Contra, definitely like Contra. Yep.
Yes.
Or the Sega CD or Genesis version of Terminator. Remember? We were playing Kyle Reese in the beginning.
That's right. Yeah.
Fun. So fun thing. It's like a shadow drop. Fun thing about that game. Notice a couple things about it. Notice who's on the cover.
Who is? I don't even know what the cover is.
I didn't see the cover.
Oh, Sarah Connor.
The cover has Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
And the T-1000. Who's missing?
Arnold.
They don't have the rights to Arnold Schwarzenegger in that game.
Uh-oh.
They have the music and everything.
They have the music. They have a bunch of things, but it looks like what they did is they got at least the likeness rights for at least 3 people. Linda Hamilton, Robert Patrick, and the guy who played
John Connor in the future.
Connor.
That's right.
Played John Connor in the future. Those are the 3 people in there. Arnold's not in there, and when they show pictures of Arnold, he's got a skeleton face.
Yeah. Yeah, he has his hair, but the Terminator, the metal.
He's got a Terminator face in front of it. So yeah, they couldn't get the likeness rights to him, and that's why he's not even on the cover. So
Arnold doesn't need the money. Why can't he just agree? I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
It's a weird one because he's not in demand these days.
Yeah,
he doesn't need he could just to pick up nowadays, actors aren't getting likeness, getting a lot of residuals or from any of the work they do, recasting and all kinds of stuff that they, their shows and movies. Why does Arnold need top dollar just to have his face in the game? Not even his voice.
It's got to be his management group. They probably have a set price, and it was like, yeah, if you don't hit this number, we don't care what.
This is another very iconic moment when this happened is years ago when they made Todd McFarlane got the rights to do Terminator. It took them so long that the likeness rights for Arnold Schwarzenegger's face ran out. And then when they released the figure, they had to rip his face off, just like what they did in this game. He just had to have like a really screwed up face so that, okay, it is the T, whatever. I can't remember the number of that one.
T800.
But it's, his face is all messed up. Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, it looks very cool.
It looks awesome, man.
They definitely put a lot of work into that. A lot of really smooth animation. It definitely is a love letter to all that. And also that crazy ass studio, they have essentially a way they can port that game to pretty much every single console that has ever existed. So if you ever look into those guys, they've actually released Sega Genesis games recently, like games that legitimately run on a Sega Genesis if you put their cartridge in, or a Sega Saturn too. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so this is what the developer said. Kind of, you alluded to this, Manny. He goes, I feel Terminator 2D, No Fate, is a love letter to the 80s, 90s arcade games, and my mission was to create the T2 side-scrolling game we should have had in our youth. And that's true. We didn't have a proper Terminator 2 side-scrolling game. Manny, what game was it that there was a Terminator game, like a side-scrolling?
No, there was the Terminator for Genesis and Sega CD.
Yeah,
and that's that's the one where you play Kyle Reese and he pulls out the gun out of his little trench coat.
Yeah. But what?
Yeah, that one came out, but there wasn't really a two other than the arcade game, which
there was also one. Yeah, there was also one on game. There was a
shooter game.
Yeah, there was also a Game Boy game. I remember playing a Terminator 2 game. But what was the one? Was it
recently? Resistance that had.
Yeah, was it RoboCop vs. Terminator? That was that was it, right? There was
RoboCop vs. Terminator.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, but we never had a proper. Basically, so it says
no.
Players control Sarah Connor, John Connor, and the T-800 in arcade-style missions that retell Terminator 2 Judgment Day while expanding the narrative. And yeah, this shit looks straight out of like the SNES, man, or arcades. Like, give me this game, bro. Give me this. I wonder if it's gonna have like co-op.
It comes out. It comes out September 29th.
Nice.
I'm like, God damn, you total missed opportunity.
Yeah, man.
They should have released it on Judgment Day.
Yeah. Was that August 29th or something?
It was like August 7th or something like that.
Yeah, but they should do that. It's like, release it on Judgment Day. It'll be perfect.
Come on, release it on Judgment Day.
Yeah. So
they'll do it for the early access for additional $10. You can play it.
But yeah, does anybody know if this game has
August? Sorry, not August 7th. August 29th.
Okay, I was right. Yeah.
August 29th, 1997.
Yeah,
that's when Judgment Day happens.
97. Shoot, I remember that. Getting hit by a van.
Oh shit. So yeah, I don't know if this game has co-op or anything like that.
No, I looked because I was like, oh, this would be great. You see someone else just show up on a motorcycle, and then if you're doing co-op, like a Contra co-op.
You know what's interesting about Judgment Day? Like Terminator 2 took place a little bit before Judgment Day would have happened, because think about it like this. John Connor was born in like 1984, 85. If the movie came out in 91, he would be like 9 years old, So it did the movie.
I mean, he is young in that.
But movie. he's like 12, 13, So like 12 to be 12 or 13, the movie would have to take place in like 1994, So basically I'm saying the movie takes place a few years after 1991. Understand? Like he's not a that's not a 9-year-old kid.
They say that John Connor is 10 years old.
10 years old. So it's so it'd be 1994. It'd still be in the future, It wouldn't be Judgment Day, but it'd still be a few years. Even that's not a fucking 10-year-old kid, you know. But then again, Manny, you know, 90s kids. I guess
they
I
grow
don't.
faster.
It said Edward Furlong in the film. You know, he was like 13, or you know, like he
like the actual actor. Yeah.
Because there's points where he's actually really young. Like the parts where they're in the desert, he's like he kind of ages through the movie a little bit. Yeah.
But basically, the point is like, okay, so it's not Judgment Day, but it does take place like further in the future than 1991 when the movie actually came out. You know. Again, if you guys don't know, I've said this many times. Terminator 2, my favorite movie of all time. Every time I see a movie, I judge it by the Terminator 2 standard, you know, and very few movies have made me go, yo, this one I love it. Bro.
Every movie, it's Judgment Day.
Yeah.
It's funny when you bring up that whole thing with the aging, because it brings back Lost and that show, and then Michael had his son Walt.
That's right, yeah.
Remember, they had like big gaps of production. Every time they came back, he had these growth spurts. So whenever they filmed his scenes, he was always sitting down.
Yeah.
Because if they had him stand up, he would they're like, whoa, what happened? You tower over everyone. So you always see him sitting down. Hey, Dad. All right, let's go there. And then he's sitting at the next spot. Hi, Dad. They couldn't do it.
That's always the thing about like having children in these shows, you know? Like remember Brandon Stark, you know, from Game of Thrones? He was this little kid, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And by then he's this big motherfucker. Hodor has to carry this man behind him. You know, some for that kid. It's hilarious. Yeah. All right, Rich, you want to say something?
Well, I just have one final comment to make about this. The game looks phenomenal. Although I'm sure the WB is not happy, because this means that you will not be picking up Mortal Kombat 1 to play as a T-1000.
Yeah. You just play it here.
Not only that, he was in Rich and Carlos. You both know. Remember Gears 5? They added Sarah Connor and a T-1000.
Oh yeah.
Remember they were in there, and you can play as them and you can fight them and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Only thing I remember about that game is you leaving me for dead.
Here we go. Here we go.
Drama. Oh, yeah, we were live streaming that one too. My bad.
I remember that live stream. That's funny, man. All right, let's start wrapping things up. Thank you for joining us as always. Rich, what is happening at the Coalition this weekend?
All right. Well, first and foremost, Mr. Adam Vale, our senior editor, he has been reviewing the show Reacher. Like I said, if you go to the website right now, it's on Spotify. I will let him do the rest of the plugging. But yes, I recommend checking out the show if you're a fan of Reacher, or you definitely want to check out something that might be different. Yeah, give a listen to their podcast. It's very entertaining, very good show. So check that out. Of course, we will be recording the next Invincible podcast.
Yeah.
What's that? 6, right?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
And by the way, I will just say this: phenomenal episode. That's all I'm going to say. If you want to hear what else I got to say, you got to listen to got to watch our discussion on this weekend. And lastly, as far as the Coalition is concerned, yes, Monster Hunter Wilds review is currently on the website. I'm working on a lot of other things. And I'm also going to GDC next month, and I have a ton of things that I will be talking about from that show, because there's a lot of games that are at that show. People have no idea, but I'll talk about that in the future.
That's what's up.
So stay tuned.
Yeah. And Adam, you want to go into more detail about the Reacher show?
Yeah, man. Big thank you for everybody, whether they're following or not, whatever, and when they listen. I mean, it's been pretty amazing to see.
I heard it past Rogan.
Past Rogan, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. No, we definitely, over whether it's on YouTube and all the views there, or on Spotify and on Apple podcasts, we were listed as number 1.
Nice.
You know, and I couldn't believe I took a snapshot. I'll save that forever. You know, so it's just great. It's just great. Not just it's always even here, like, you know, when you create something, you put it out there. Who knows? You don't know, right? Some people may like it, they may not like it.
Yep.
But when they do like it and they're listening to it, and then you see them subbing right afterwards, or they put a comment, it warms the heart. You know, because it's like, okay, because, you know, we're doing it myself and Lawrence from A Punk with Choice. We just like the show. And that's how it started. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna make this show. It's gonna be. We're like, oh, let's talk about this. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And just to see there's other like-minded people interested and are feeling it, it's fantastic. It's great. So shout out to that. Thank you. My Spider-Man 2 review. Spoiler: the game is still broken on the PC platform. They are still sending out patches and hot fixes for a patch after they read the patch. Another hot fix for the previous. It's like every time I boot that up, it's got something to fix. Sometimes some of it was fixing stuff that was in the last patch.
Hey, dog, I heard you like hot fixes, so I made a hot fix for your hot fix. Where's Exhibit at, man?
Oh, man, it's like I'm so disappointed. And I don't want to just rip them because every outlet's ripping them right now. How do you screw up? You had Spider-Man Remastered come out, no problems. You had Miles Morales come out on PC, no problem. This one comes out and it's just a hot mess. And it's not fair. It's not fair especially for Spider-Man. Because you would think, oh, this is Spider-Man. This is the cream of the crop right here. You should have your A-team on this. What happened? But that's it. And then, of course, you got the wrestling coming to the coalition. Like Rich had talked about, once that comes, he's going to disappear for a while. He's going to hibernate. If you guys don't know, Rich and I are super wrestling fans. We're excited to watch the programming. That's also, we got Elimination Chamber this weekend. So don't forget, everybody, go watch that. That's going to be good. And, that's what's going on.
Yeah, and like Rich also said, yes, the Invincible podcast will return. We are going to be covering episode 6, which means we only have 2 more episodes after that, people. And things are going to get crazy, so good times. I love the show. It's just so well done. And the podcast, I like that's my Saturday routine now. It's like wake up, get my breakfast on, watch the show, and then do the podcast. It's great. And also
have your cereal.
Yeah, I had my cereal. Yeah, even when I was a kid, I didn't like cereal. Because it's fucking soggy and milk. I hate. I don't like milk.
My son loves cereal with no milk. Every morning he has cereal.
That's the only way I would eat that shit. It's like no milk. Just eat it like it's like a snack or something. Because milk is what's up.
So pretty much like your Friday, you use water. Use water.
Yeah, use water. Use water like Friday. Yeah. So definitely go check out the Invincible podcast. Oh, go check out all that stuff, all the good stuff. The Reach Around podcast, I like to call it. Go check that out at the Coalition YouTube channel. Good stuff. And let me do this now while Manny's still looking good. Manny, what you got to plug?
Yes. Remember how I didn't remember when this thing was coming out? This actually did come out this week.
Excuse me?
On Wednesday. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 7. Me and Kari Randolph have a 4-cover series that's coming in the next few issues, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Which will have all 4 turtles. I don't exactly remember which one because I might have just submitted. They just may have just submitted a lot of these covers for recent, so you might be seeing previews for them pretty soon. And not to mention, a month from now, on the 26th of March, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Naruto, which if you've paid attention to my Twitter, me and Kari did a cover for that too. So we got a lot of green coming up in the next few months. So
good
turtle
stuff.
Power.
Yeah. Yo, man, you coloring Uzumaki? Good stuff, man. And I like how the camera got all shitty as soon as you put the comic down. So it all worked out.
That's right.
Yeah. And
you know it, computer.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to plug, obviously, it's back, people. The Monster Hunter live streams are back. You already know. Yeah.
Monster Jam.
The Monster Jam. So the Monster Squad will reconvene. Every Friday and Saturday night, we're going to be doing some Monster Hunter streams with the fellas. Going to be some good times. And like we did before, we're going to go through the whole campaign, little by little. And then I predict that tomorrow night the first hour will consist of J-Boy showing us how to link up with each other, because it's very confusing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to, like I told you guys, I'm going to build a brand new character so I could just be on the same level. By the way, because I remember I was telling you guys how the game is a little bit easy. I think I was inadvertently helping with that because I was jumping into other people like low rank missions with my high ass character going in there smacking a monster twice and shit. It's like, let me not do that. And then I started playing high rank missions. Like, okay, here we go. Here's the juice. So I don't want to do that with you guys. I don't want to go in there, my high level character, just smack the monster once and have fun. So I'm gonna start from the beginning, but I'm probably gonna stick with the charge blade. That's just my weapon, man. I wonder if it's the fighting game character in me. It's like I need mechanics, and that's the most mechanically complex weapon in the game. Maybe the insect glaive is like the next one because there's a lot of shit you got to manage. But I like that. It's like you have 2 weapons in one. You got the files. You got all this shit. And I'll tell you this, man. That fucking shield has saved my ass plenty of times. I was messing around. Here's the thing: I want to like the big sword, the broadsword, but it's too fucking slow, And then the long sword is cool, but it's like easy. It's like there's no complexity to it. I know they added more stuff to it, but it's like I don't know. I like the complexity of the charge blade, so I'm just gonna stick with that, dude. My second weapon is the fucking charge blade. I just made sure it has like elemental stuff. My main one, my main one has like elemental stuff, and then the second is just like pure brute force. It's gonna be so good, man. It's gonna be so good. So yes, Monster Hunter streams are back. You already know. And yeah, that's gonna do it for us. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Join the Discord and follow us on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
He didn't even fucking react. Then he's like, wait, I'm not going to say nothing. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
See, Manny, that's how you respond, bro. Carlos Romero.
Is this?
There you go. Adam Vale.
Before I forget, shout out to Dio for thinking about the I Am Negan crew. That's right. We are hyped for Dead City. That's coming May 4th. So he shot us out and sent us a video. So
that's a national holiday.
Yeah, can't wait.
And shout out to Ronnie James Dio too,
there you go.
There we go.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
And Brian Manjoma.
Ding dong, the witch is, retiring, not dead.
Yeah, I know. Well, did you see the latest report? Apparently, this fucking spiteful bitch is going to stay on longer, because she didn't like that people were happy she was leaving. So she's like, I'm going to stay longer. I'm going to stay another year. Fucking spiteful bitch. All right. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night, bruh. Monster Hunter. But yes, the question show will be back on Sunday as always, and go check out all those wonderful podcasts on the Coalition, man. Later.